Alrighty, it's Calxiyn here. So before we get started, remember, if you want to support these kinds of videos, that you guys should join us on our Patreon. I hope that you guys have been enjoying our Patreon talks too, because the last one we did live, and it was great. Anyways, so today we are going to be talking about a couple things, but mostly how gay this episode was.
Hey,
later.
That's
Anyways, so let's start off first. The montage was a little bit draining because we had already had a montage
last
last
this
episode.
Montage was way better, though.
It was
funny.
but I was just like, not again. Like, there was like some feelings inside of me where I was like, oh shit. So anyway.
I felt that way, and like, first off, but then it got awesome because
yeah, it did, but I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
Is it at all possible to turn the volume down at this game?
Why?
I feel like it was very loud.
I mean, yeah, but then I just turn it down in OBS, or in the editing software.
But I'm certain that they can most definitely hear this from
yeah, but it doesn't matter, because they're already hearing it anyway. It would be synced up.
Alright.
Do you understand? Okay, anyways. All of Crowe's friends are dead or something.
Or they're off, doing business.
Well, they never came back. That's the problem. Like, that's why, because Crowe says, I understand one or two, but all of them, and so all of his friends have seemed to disappear.
They said that they were like, missing in action?
Yeah, they're basically, well...
I thought they were just off because Lionheart sent them all.
Or, I mean, that's also a good idea.
You
no,
watched it twice.
I did watch it, but it doesn't say that they're missing. It just says, like, mission and rescue, 8 weeks. Like, remember when Team Coffee, like, was gone for longer than expected and they didn't come back? That's what I believe that Crowe was referring to.
Maybe.
That...
But Leo also said that it was like, oh, all of them are out there. And he was like, all
well,
of them?
I wonder if Lionheart did send them out on purpose now that you say that. And I think that's an interesting video to do. But either way, it's that they're missing for longer than expected, right? Because Team Coffee was only supposed to be gone a week and they took 2 weeks. And so you kind of understand, like, how long jobs are supposed to take now in this world. Does that make sense?
I mean, I guess.
And so if a job is supposed to take 1 week and they're gone for 8 weeks, like, one of those guys was gone for 8 weeks or something, like, you kind of understand that he's missing, right? And obviously that father and the kid expected their mom to come home, but we'll get to that in a minute. Something I want to point out was there was a no faunus sign on the thing.
Yeah, that was some Jim Crow shit right there.
And so a lot of people have been arguing they haven't seen enough racism in Remnant. Like, not like just because, like, I don't know, they say like, oh, the faunus like they've been discriminated against, but we haven't seen it once. Cardin just bullies everyone, and I'm like, okay, listen. And so what I want to point out is that you have to remember that, like, okay, so in Toronto, where we live, I would say that it's pretty multicultural, okay? So you're not gonna get the same amount of racism that you're gonna get in some, like, weird-ass, like, backwater bumpkin place. You know, some small town.
Like the largest city in Minstrel?
No, but he's in, like, the shady area, though, right?
I guess so. No, there's racism in any place.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, that compared to other, like, because remember, he is in some sort of back alley shit. You know what I mean? Like, he's not in the nice kingdom place of Minstrel, right? He's in the, you know, like, he's in the shady, like, criminal place of Minstrel. We have to remember that, right? He's not in the main kingdoms. And I would say, like, in a place like Vale, it probably doesn't happen as much as, like, some shady towns in like, outside of the kingdom in Minstrel, you know what I mean?
That or the show's just not really good at showing. Which is entirely possible.
They've had that problem as well, but I'm saying, like, I would argue that, like, you know, some places like Atlas and then towns outside of Atlas would be more racist than towns outside of Vale. Just kind of from what, like, we've seen. Like, Blake was able to get into the school no problem, and even with Atlas, right, Neon Cat, like, obviously got into the school, like, no problem, and she's a faunus, right? And so, I think the further you get from, like, the core...
we don't know that.
I mean, she got in, though. She's
obviously
there.
But we don't know if it's no problem.
But, I mean, like it's no... Like, you know what I mean, though. She's there, so obviously they fought really hard for it and they got it, or they didn't have to fight at all.
Alright.
You understand what I'm saying? And so I feel like even though... We just haven't been in a place where they could really establish that. And so now we're in some shady places.
Or they handled racism like a toddler with a chainsaw.
But we have to remember, we don't have any visible faunus in the main team. It would be interesting if people treat Blake differently now that she's not wearing the bow compared to when we saw Blake in Volume 1. Right? In Volume 1 to 3. I think that would be super interesting if there's now this contrast, because without any visible faunus in the main party, like, we would only see background characters. And they tried to do that with Velvet, and obviously they didn't do a great job, because people are like, well, Cardin just bullies everyone, it's not racism. But, like, after that scene, they explicitly say, wow, the faunus must have it so hard, right? Like, they explicitly talk about how the faunus are discriminated
and you only
against,
ever
you know
really
what I mean?
see him bully 2 people.
Yeah.
One of which is Jean.
So, like, it's like, it's a 50-50, I don't know. And so, I hope this helps some people understand. I would like to do another video about it, because I don't want to go on about it too long. But there's definitely differences. Like, even in the States, I would say, like, different places that you go would be more racist than others. And I'm sure there are some numbers on that somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, no place is entirely perfect.
Yeah, sure.
But some places are definitely worse, and I feel like Atlas is probably going to be the worst place. And so if Blake does reunite with the party soon, and they go to save the Atlas school, I think that it would be interesting to see, like, Blake actually getting, like, super discriminated against when they go there. Because I feel like that is kind of where... I feel like they've built this up to be a contrast, and we just haven't seen the contrast yet. Like, you could be right. They could just be handling it badly, but I think that we should wait.
Now
you know what I mean?
Ever since they killed off Sienna Khan, I'm like, okay, they may not know what they're doing.
Okay. But you understand what I'm saying,
Oh, yeah,
right?
that's a ridiculous statement. But you,
I mean,
like...
why wouldn't they know what they're doing because they killed Sienna, though? I don't understand the correlation between that and the racism.
It was basically just, like, that they don't... Basically, they act so precious with the idea of a gay character. It's like, we need to take our time. We need to make sure that it's the right time.
Why are you touching
me? But with racism, they were just like, let's fucking start right away. Woohoo! We can show that, like, the obvious
That's supposed to be something you start right away. Like, you know what I mean? That's world building. Having, like, gay main characters in world building, that's character building. It's different.
Yeah, but I feel like they also have, like, just not handled it amazingly. Like,
and I know, and I'm saying that they can fix it, and I'm telling you how they can fix it. And so I'm saying I'm gonna make another video about it, so great. I'm gonna just, like, but for now I'm like, chill guys, like, don't worry, we'll get there. You know what I mean? But it's hard when you don't have a main character in the cast, because you can only show it through background characters, and that worked so well for them the first time. And so, like,
that wasn't so terrible with Velvet.
No, but people, like, don't understand the connection.
I feel like you just have weirdos in your Discord. And
it's not just in the Discord!
Okay, anyways.
Like, most people in the Discord understand it.
Hey, there's a lot of cool stuff in this episode.
I understand. That's why I'm telling you that we'll talk more about it later, but I just want people to chill, and I think they can fix it by doing a nice contrast with Blake without her bow. Like, and having her ears out for the world to see.
And I don't disagree with that.
And so that will be interesting. Also, I enjoyed that there was a little random fighting ring. Just that Crowe was doing.
It's not even a ring, he was just standing outside.
But, like, there was a scoreboard, so obviously there's some sort of underground betting system going on.
I guess that is true. But, like, as for a physical ring, there was
Now, for some actual interesting thing.
Thank Christ.
Okay, it was interesting to see a contrast between, like, Crowe asking that dude where Heather was, and then that girl saying, like, does he know where, like, where her mom is or whatever? And so that kind of reminds me of probably what would have happened with Summer, like, with RWBY and Yang.
Yeah, or
the kid.
even possibly with Raven.
Like,
or probably more
Raven
with Summer,
was never in Yang's life, though,
that's true.
so she would have never noticed her leaving.
Yeah, but
and so it's way more with Summer, like how Yang would have reacted to Summer leaving. Because remember, I don't think RWBY remembers Summer at all. And so
Yang
it would have been more
remember.
Yang.
Although she did go out, Yang did go out to try to find
Yeah,
Raven.
but that's
so
not the same thing.
No, but I
don't think that's the contrast they're trying to make.
Okay, maybe not, but also there's still the idea of being abandoned there.
Yeah, but it's not about being abandoned. Raven made a choice to leave. Summer died. Like, Summer did not want to go anywhere.
We don't know if this person is dead exactly.
We
either.
don't, but you can assume they're probably not coming back.
Anyways.
But that's what I'm trying to...
The kid was cute.
Yeah, but it's like, evidently about Summer, and I think that's why Crowe has that sort of reaction, because he remembers probably, like, RWBY was a baby, so forget about RWBY. He probably remembers having to come home and tell Tai and Yang that Summer wasn't coming back. And that was probably very difficult for him to do. Anyways. I like how he also paid off Shiro, like, Shiro's debt or whatever, like, to clear his name. Like, are you gonna do that with one money? But, like, is he gonna do that for every, like, dude that has some sort of outstanding debt? You know what I mean? But he's pretty confident Shiro's dead then.
Yeah, I guess
because he wants him to be remembered as a good man who didn't owe debt to people.
Yeah, that's probably it.
And so that's where I'm like, okay, but are you that sure that he's dead? Because he owes you 16,000 yen. I don't know if they're using, like, Japanese currency. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if this is American dollars, like $16,000.
I don't know if it's that. I don't think it's $16,000. If it's,
I'll look up what 16,000 yen is.
If it's yen, then I think that's only like $16 or something like that.
16,000 yen. 16,000 yen. To you, we'll do United States.
Then that'd be $160.
$142.
Okay.
If it is supposed to be based off of yen currency.
Okay, that's about
not that much. Like,
no, but
it is a lot, but it's not that much.
I would be pissed as hell if I had to pay $140.
But, like, we don't know where Crowe is getting his money, though.
I mean, presumably he's hired as a.
Yeah, but, like, he could be swimming in
benefits.
money. Like, he could be swimming in money, so it probably isn't a big deal. Like, I've dropped $150 on people that needed it. Like, it's okay. It's okay.
We call that a humble brag in the industry.
I know. I'm giving that as an example. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Especially if Crowe feels guilty because he just, like, rammed some guy's house down whose wife is dead. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a connection there that he felt bad, and so he wanted to do something nice to make him feel less like a shithead. Anyway. Moving on, Vernal got kicked out of that room hella fast. Like, Raven was like, you can wait outside. And Vernal was like, what do you fucking mean? And then she left anyway.
Basically, all of our theories about Vernal and Raven have proven to be wrong.
What do you mean?
Because there doesn't seem to be, like, a romantic relationship or, like,
a mother-father
or mother-daughter relationship.
We don't know that either. We've only, like, okay, it makes sense that she's kicking Vernal out, and I feel like later we're gonna see she's salty about that, and then we'll see
But then she does bust in, and she has this weird...
Yeah, exactly.
I think I described it.
She has a saw. She has a circular saw as her weapon.
I think I described it as a killer pap smear. It doesn't look like that upon better.
How do you even know what a pap smear looks like?
Because ever since I've watched the movie Babysitter on Netflix, I've called people pap smears as.
But that's not what it looks like.
Yeah, I know, but for a brief second I thought that's what it looked like.
But how do you know what it looks like though?
Because we had Cal. I don't know if you know this, right?
What?
There's something called Google Images.
Okay.
And on Google
But why
Images,
did you look it up in the first place?
Because I just told you, because I started using it as an insult.
And so you wanted to know what it was first before you started insulting people with it?
I had a pretty good... Also, it's just general information.
Okay.
Like, I think a lot of people know what a pap smear is.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not unique, I don't believe.
Anyway, I think that we are gonna see later, like, that, Vernal was salty about, like, how Raven treated her in front of them.
I feel like Vernal's really trying her hardest. Like, you definitely got the sense that she got in there so quick. Either she has good hearing, or she had her ear pressed against the tent flap.
It seems like she was eavesdropping on everything. She just didn't want to be in the room to be intimidating. Or something. Like, I feel like that's why. Because then she came in and she was like, well, go see for yourself. Like, obviously they coordinated this. You know what I mean? Like,
which raises
Vernal
the question,
came in on cue twice.
If she did know this, why wasn't she there to begin with?
Well,
which
I feel like it's about being, like, threatening, and then also Yang was kind of already cheesed. And Vernal has a very snarky attitude. Maybe Raven was just like, hey, listen, you just go outside the tent. You know what I mean? Like... I don't know if this is a good comparison, but, like, some of our moderators on the staff team are a little, like, hot-headed, let's say, than other staff members, and I'm just like, hey, like, just wait outside for a minute.
Compared
you know
to
what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm not active staff anymore. I'm retired. So I can, like, add more years to my lifespan instead of stressing. But, like, it's sort of like that.
This is why I'm not in the Discord a lot.
Okay.
It is a shit show.
That's fine.
Anyways. Join our Discord. Become a Patreon.
Exactly.
Continue.
So I thought that I want to do a separate video on this too, like Yang leaving, but let's get to the other stuff first. So, Raven and Crowe went to the school to kill Huntsman, and so that sounds like something out of a bad fanfiction. Like, I've heard this in, like, at least 10 different fan fictions have had this same idea, and that, like, and usually here's how it goes, okay?
Well, because they kind of already did it. That's
really.
Fair.
They didn't.
Or they had, like, people, like, sneaking in there for nefarious reasons.
Well, they did, but, like, a lot of people were like, Crowe and Raven are so edgy, they're going in to kill, like, or something like that.
Or just learn how to kill and then go back.
And then, like, a lot of people, how they write this is that then, like, Raven, like, falls in love with Summer or something, and then she's like, I have to put my tribe duties aside, and then, like, she breaks Summer's heart or something because she goes back, and then, like, it would tie, and then Crowe, like, stays, and, like, it's this big melodrama situation. And so there you go. Would you like to talk about that? How do you feel about that, Hunter?
I'm perfectly fine with this.
I thought it was like, it was as expected. I was like, yeah, that's what we're doing.
You do not read enough RWBY fanfiction to be aware of these tropes. I'm calling bullshit.
I do know that one. That's the one that I am aware of. Am I wrong?
That happens a lot?
Yeah. Am I? Am I wrong?
I feel like people haven't well, a lot of that fanfiction has existed sort of before we knew for a fact what their origin story was.
Yeah, and so
it went all over the place, but no, you're not in fact actually wrong.
Okay, I know.
You're not very
Even if I'm
wrong.
bullshitting, at least I'm bullshitting
but
correctly.
It makes us, but like, usually it was like, oh, they're planning an attack, but with this it was just like, nah, man, we just wanted to get better at killing people. What do you want?
Okay, anyways.
Which also sort of explains
I would like to do
why,
a separate video on that too.
Which also explains why, I guess
Raven
why the rest of her, like, groupies sucked ass when they were fighting Yang.
Yeah, because they're not supposed to be fighting huntsmen. That's what I was trying to explain to you guys the last week, or the week before, is that you don't need, like, I just need to be faster than Hunter if a bear is chasing me.
Bitch,
I don't need to be the fastest.
Faster than you.
And, like, that is what I'm saying. And so, you know, work smart, not hard. They sent them there to like, be intelligent, not be brutes. In a way, like, know how to kill huntsmen. That's a skill. That's like that's
and
that's
Grimm,
a stat
I think they
point.
also might have mentioned Grimm.
They've already were good at Grimm though. That's what they kind of said. Like, we were already great with what we went through. And I like that Raven was sort of bragging about it. Like, I thought that was really nice.
This is how I get off.
I know, like, she was really proud of herself. She's a little, like, Yang was like, or Weiss was like, you're a little obnoxious. And I was just like, hey, that's not fair. But as she was talking, I was like, yeah.
And also, it's like, Weiss, like, historically, that's calling the kettle black.
Okay, but she's changed, so she can recognize it now. It's okay.
I like that Raven owns it. It's like, yeah, but fucking...
I don't like that Yang was so stubborn with believing her mom, but at the same time, we have to remember that she's heard nothing in terms of maidens, ozpin,
she doesn't even know who Vernal is. She's just like,
and so...
who's the bitch with the thunder?
The only problem I have with this is that who does she think that Salem has been led by? Or does she think Cinder, sorry. Or does she think that Cinder was just doing shit by herself?
Yeah.
And why didn't she mention Cinder at all? Or did she not even know?
Because during the fight...
she doesn't... Did she know that Pyrrha got killed? Oh, no, I think she mentions it.
Also, because she knows... Because when you look at... There was the fight with Tyrion. Tyrion's talking about his goddess. And RWBY was like, you mean Cinder? And he was like,
so obviously she didn't know
yet,
right?
So they think it's Cinder, not Salem.
But why didn't she bring up Cinder is my question.
No.
Like, I think if they were like, I don't know. I don't know why
we only had so much episode.
Because I thought it would be interesting if, like, Raven started to say, there's a goddess that controls the Grimm, and then Yang would be like, who? Like, Cinder? And then Raven was like, she wishes. Like, as a callback to the Tyrion thing. Like, I thought that would be interesting. But it's okay, Rooster Teeth. You haven't hired me yet. Don't worry. The day will come.
Yes. Oh, God. I don't want to know what lesbian melodrama high school bullshit they would start airing if you worked at that.
Listen. Okay? Somebody actually said, like, that, like, because they were saying that, like, oh, Miles, like, I wonder if Miles and Carrie watch your freezer burn video and were laughing to themselves. And I'm like, Miles and Carrie are not watching my shit. And they're like, are you sure? Because, like, you're the first thing that comes up if you type in shipping. And they're very aware of the community. They probably watched at least one. And I'm like, I hope that's one where I said that I wanted to work there then. Anyways, it's okay. It's okay.
I hope they're like, yeah, I don't know what the girl, but the guy there, he was real good.
He was good at what, writing?
I don't know, something.
You have to actually write, though.
We're just gonna have him come in.
Okay.
Well, you also have to write something that's good.
I mean,
so...
not to write in general. and make money. Hence, a la 50 Shades of Grey. You know?
So you're gonna write porn?
No. I'm saying that you don't need to write good shit to be a writer.
Fair enough.
You just need to write,
so what
which
were we
you do
talking
not do.
about?
Anyway, Weiss knows this random shit about ozpin that's never been established. Like, I don't think they've ever been like, ozpin was a prodigy chosen by the last ozpin. Like, you know what I mean?
The last ozpin.
The last
ozpin. It was like Krusty Krab 2. It was amazing.
Anyways, I hate that you keep making that joke. But you understand what I'm saying, right? Like, Weiss just knows this random, like, he was a prodigy, and I know Weiss is the smart one, kind of, like, she's the smart one, like, school-wise. I'm sure Blake also gets good grades, but Weiss was the smartest in the class, apparently. She claimed.
I feel like she would claim.
Because she wanted to be, like, she said the smartest girl in school with the strongest girl in school, referring to Pyrrha.
Also,
right?
and it's like, school hasn't started yet. Like, that's a bit of ego where it's like, I already know. Like, what if fucking Yang was a savant?
I mean, we know she went to another school, though, I'm sure. Maybe. Or because her, like, she probably was already aware of her grades, or she had a private tutor or something, you know what I mean? Like, she knew she had the rich person advantage.
Bitches with money.
Anyways, I didn't like that so much, because it's, like, it's kind of shoehorning in exposition, but, like, they covered for it. It's okay. So, Raven kind of explains how Team Stark is a lot like Team RWBY, like, turning a blind eye whenever we got into trouble, giving us extra special treatment and extra missions, and I'm like, we get it, Raven. Like, we kind of been drawing the comparisons from day one. But she's saying, I think, which is interesting, is that is intentional, because Ozpin is choosing generations to fight for him and then go fail and die. That's kind of what's happening.
Yeah, she's also like, by the way, right, there's magic, and it's just like, then what the fuck was dust and semblance? And I think even Yang was like, well, I know we have dust and semblance.
Well, that was Weiss.
But, okay, but like, what's magic? And it's just like, you guys, is magic so unbelievable for you?
Well, yeah, because you have to say, like, in this world there's science, but there's not magic. I think that's kind of what that was supposed to be like, you know what I mean? Well, I think there's a little magic in this world, but that's okay. But you understand what I'm saying, right?
So, I mean, I just thought it was kind of funny.
It
like,
was
that's
funny,
not a nitpick.
and I think it was supposed to be funny.
Yeah, that's just sort of like, come on now.
But, and we have to remember, they don't know anything about shit. They don't know shit about shit
and
right
also,
now.
because it sucks, because, like, a lot of the stuff that was supposed to be big and revealed was stuff that we already knew.
Yeah, but we had to expect that. But there was some stuff that we didn't, which I'll get to. Salem is confirmed Master of the Grimm. Like, I just thought that she was just chilling with them, but she couldn't...
And she never really explains, sorry to cut you off, but she never really explains exactly what it is that, like, compelled her to fuck off. She just said, like, ask your uncle. Raven, yeah.
Well, okay, I'll get to that, and I'd like to do a separate video about that.
There's a giant demon that's gonna kill us all, and she's just being like, I'm out. Which is what I would do, and currently do about a lot of things.
I would like to do a lot of videos. But anyways.
Oh, fucking hell. That list looks long. You told me it wouldn't. You're
okay,
a
I changed
liar.
my mind. Anyways, I want to go into this in more detail, but, like, I think that she probably left because she found out Ozpin was full of shit and did some bad things. And also, Ozpin, like, turned them into birds, which I want to get to, but you keep interrupting me. And so, hold on a minute.
Listen, right?
Salem being Master of the Grimm doesn't make too much sense. Like, it does.
What? How
but
does it make
here's
sense?
the thing. Okay, so the only reason Ozpin has been reincarnating is because he has failed to stop Salem by the gods, okay?
Yes.
So we've established that. Are you ready? So here's the problem that I find, okay? So that means Salem wasn't always Master of the Grimm. She became or was created Master of the Grimm before. Like, before Ozpin started reincarnating. Because the gods cursed him. And so, if the gods, or at least he thinks the gods cursed him, I don't know what to say. Like, if he was already... Like, there had to be a time before Salem got in control of the Grimm. And so, that's a bit weird to say that she's the master of them. You know what I mean?
Unless she, like, became the master.
That's what I'm saying. So it's more like she became the master of the Grimm, but how the fuck did she do that?
Well, I think we're still learning. And I like the idea that we don't quite know everything about her.
I do, but the thing is like, how do you, even with magic, how do you become the master of the Grimm? Like, how would a normal person...
I guess we just have to
And
find
so,
out.
I talked about this before with you guys, is that my idea is that Ozpin basically made Salem and made somebody to be able to control the Grimm to try and create some sort of peace, right?
Maybe.
And then
Maybe
she went crazy with it, and that is why we have what we have today.
That's a good theory.
And so I would like to do a separate video of that,
and she's fucking writing it down right now. It's not like doing 1 hour-long video was tedious enough.
But this is supposed to be an analysis of the episode, not an in-depth, like, description of literally everything. You know what I mean? Like, we're not supposed to really be theory crafting here. We're just supposed to analyze the episode as we have the episode. Which is why we do so many other videos a week, is because I'm not going to go into my entire Salem theory here, you know what I mean? Because this is just for what we've seen. What I like to talk about in other videos is stuff that is unseen. Like, this is just an analysis of what we have, not what I, like, think of what's gonna happen in terms of, like, theory
Do you know
crafting.
what analysis means?
Yes, I do!
Which you basically just described what analysis is.
Yeah, but there's a difference between analyzing what we have and making theories about what we don't. I would argue.
I would argue that an integral part of making theories is analysis.
Yeah, and so this is building onto our other theories for the week. That's
the
what
process
the thing
of
is.
making a theory could really just be described as analyzing data.
I know.
Raw data.
Analyzing data.
Listen, Cal, I'm the one. At least I may have pronounced it right. You're the one who doesn't know what it means.
I do know what it means. I'm saying I'm not gonna do my entire theory in this episode. Hunter, think about how many videos we do for a week, okay? This episode would be almost 3 hours long if I did all of the videos that we do during the week, right? This is just an analysis of what we have already seen, not of like, I wonder if Salem is Jean's evil counterpart, like that crack theory we did.
Do that theory.
I know, but it was separate. I'm saying it's not in here. It's not just randomly included. It's so, like, if I want to write a theory about Salem, I'm not gonna just, like, make you guys sit through it, like we're making you guys sit through this argument for 10 minutes, because I think Hunter doesn't understand what we are trying to do.
I don't think, listen, all I was concerned is that I need you to invest in a dictionary, and I don't, so I'm very glad about that.
Oh my god. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We're trying to analyze what we're seeing right now. So, I think that, like, Raven pointing out that Yang should question everything is gonna echo, like, in the back of her head for the rest of the series, in a way. Like, I don't know if she really is so stubborn, because we'll talk about that.
Do you think Ozpin just got drunk and was like, yeah, you're birds now?
Okay, well, I think it's more of punishment for something, for being bad. I don't know. But anyway, we'll get to that part. When Yang got really angry and, like, broke the table, Weiss kind of, like, twitched a little bit, like she was a bit jumpy about that, which I think that rings back to sort of Jacques in a way, like Jacques being abusive, and so I thought that was a nice touch right there. What are you laughing at that for? Why is that funny to you?
Just the idea of, like, abuse, a nice touch.
No!
Just those words. No, I get it. I just found it funny. Don't come.
I'm saying that, like, it's probably reminiscent of something that Weiss saw her father do, which is why she was like, Yang, please, right?
I know,
She's traumatized.
I understand. It's just the language of it that I found funny.
And, like, I like how Yang, well, this happened because, like, Raven called Tai a fool, and so I think we can speculate why Raven actually left Tai, because Tai probably didn't believe her about some of the shit that Ozpin was doing, because Tai couldn't accept it or whatever. And so I'd like to do, again, a separate theory on that. But I thought that was interesting how Yang was trying to defend, like, her father and Crowe because she sees them as a real family, whereas Raven is not to her. But I think that, like, Weiss, and we'll talk about this when we get to it, but I think Weiss did want to stay and hear what Raven has to say, but she just went along with Yang because it was reminiscent of Jacques for her, and so that was frightening. You know what I mean? I feel like we need to do a freezer burn update video to talk about the further dynamic.
I don't think that it's gonna become a thing. I don't think. I've lost all
I know, but people
hope
want us to do an update.
You know, during the, this was really funny, during the what's that stream they do called? Free Live?
What?
That 24-hour stream that Rooster Teeth does.
You mean Extra Life?
Extra Life, yes. During Extra Life, it shows, like, the names of the people who donated, and someone's name they put in was LGBT rep when ?
That's funny. Anyways. Vernal came in and was like, you have to calm down, and her voice is so nice, and, like, Yeah, I really want to do a separate video about Weiss and, like, Jacques' abuse and how that impacts her relationship with Yang. Like, Freezer Burn Part 2, guys. But, like, I'm worried about doing a Part 2 in case we get more info. You know what I mean? And so maybe I'll just talk about, maybe we'll make a Part 3. It doesn't fucking matter. You guys watched them anyway. Like, Freezer Burn isn't in our top 10, but Rose Garden has overtaken Snowbird, Enabler, and Ladybug on our charts, and it's now overtaking Bumblebee in terms of our most watched ship videos. It's getting there. It's only 800 views away or so, and it's getting 100 views every day, and so by next week, if Bumblebee doesn't grow anymore, Rose Garden will surpass it. And so...
You're growing stronger.
And so, I don't mind doing a Freezer Burn Part 2 video, and then a Freezer Burn Part 3 video. I don't fucking care anymore. I just want to make videos, okay?
You just want to
I'm in a mood today.
You just want to make slim scraps of AdSense.
Yes.
I almost said absence.
As long as you guys keep watching them, I'll keep making them. Anyways. Yeah, Yang obviously has some not okay stuff about Raven leaving them, which Weiss tried to talk to her about. Like, Weiss, Weiss said, oh, Yang, it's okay if you're not okay. You know what I mean? And I think she was also referring to the PTSD because of her arm as well. But, like, I think it was also kind of like, it's okay if you're not okay with Raven, you know what I mean? And so, but Yang was like, fine, I just want to go see RWBY. And then, you know, Weiss was just like, yeah, okay. And so there was that. But, I don't know, I really enjoyed that scene. Like, I just enjoyed how all of that went down. Because I feel like, it's Weiss's abuse, and then, like, you know, Yang's pain, and then Raven said at the end, like, she, you know, I won't be as nice next time, or something, and then Yang's like, I wasn't really nice this time, and Raven sighs and says that she knows, and so she obviously knows she's being a bitch, but we need to kind of figure out why. Anyway. Yeah, she says that Tai was a fool, and so I'm guessing that's why she left him, and that's why I'd like to do a separate video on theories about why she left Tai, because it seems like to me, and again, I want to go more in depth with this so we can kind of talk back and forth with Hunter on it, but I feel like,
we can talk back and forth about it to Hunter. Who's we?
No.
If you're talking to me.
Like, the audience, like
okay.
you guys. You guys can talk back and forth with, you know what I mean? And so anyway, I think that she left him because he was too blind about what Ozpin was doing, you know what I mean? And then after Summer died, that was kind of, I mean, she was already gone by then, but that would have been the nail in the coffin for her, right? That Tai had finally maybe accepted what happened, or that Ozpin was a bad person, or that Tai couldn't still accept Ozpin was a bad person even when Summer died. And so that's why Raven never came back. Like, maybe she would have came back after.
And we still don't really know what's going on here.
What do you mean?
Like, what exactly Ozpin, other than it has something to do with the bird thing.
He turned them into birds!
Yes,
He is a bad person!
Yes, but, like, is that really such a bad thing?
Yes!
How? They
Hunter!
can control it.
Yeah, but we don't know about it yet. Like, we don't know if they...
Yeah, I know.
He did it without their consent. That's not very nice.
If someone was just like, by the way, Hunter, I gave you the ability to turn into a bird, I'd be like, sweet.
Yeah, but we don't know, like, okay. So, we'll talk about this in a second, but, there's always sort of been this theory about, Raven being, what are they, Hervin and Mun or something from... Oh my god, did they just turn the fucking vacuum on? I'm going to kill someone up there. Like, Odin's birds, right?
Yeah.
And so...
something in Munin?
Yeah, so something in Munin, I don't know. So, the idea is, I think, is that when they turn into birds, Ozpin could get the information of what they're seeing. I think that's why they do it. Or at least they have a connection with each other and they can see what each other has seen. In a sense, or something like that. But basically, when they're birds, Ozpin can see everything. So it was punishment to make sure, I guess, if they were gonna use it, they were also being good. You know what I mean? Like, it was basically to use them as spies and sort of an idea of like, hey Hunter, I'll give you this power, but whenever you want to use it, you have to make sure that you're doing something for me, or else I'll see you're up to some shady shit. You know what I mean? And it'll turn you into a bird forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's sort of where they're kind of going with that. Would you agree? Like, I feel like it's like when they're birds, Ozpin gets that information, and that's why they're used as spies. He did that because he knew that they weren't aligned with them necessarily, and so he did it in order to make them more so. Does that make sense? And so I feel like Ozpin has some way to get that information feedback, but we don't know yet. Hello?
Sure. Yes,
okay.
I agree.
But, there's more information about the Mun, and Hun and Odin
Union
thingy, and so, like, I'd like to not to save it, but I'd like to wait, basically, until I get that information, because is a lot of, theory stuff about that, and you guys are really surprised we haven't done it yet, but now I think is a perfect time to do it. Anyway, so Ozpin basically made them freaks, and so I understand why Raven's a little upset, okay? Like, I would be upset too, because, like, imagine, like, it would be like my mom turning me into a bird, but then she sees everything I do as a bird, and maybe I don't want my mom to see everything that I do all the time.
What would you be up to if you were a bird?
I don't know.
Voyeurism?
Maybe spying on people? Like, remember when I stalked that girl in my class?
Yeah, I know, that's exactly what I'm saying.
And so, that's what I'm saying. I don't want my mom to see that, okay? She doesn't need to know.
You just want the entire internet to hear about it.
I know, it's okay.
Which is totally different.
It's fine.
No weirdo.
Anyways, so Weiss totally wanted to stay, and I feel like we need to talk about this. This is really what I want to analyze.
Did she really, though?
I think so, because she was like, you know, Yang, like, I believe some of it sounds believable, but not all of it, you know what I mean?
She said that.
Like, yeah, so, yeah, outside of the tent, Weiss said that.
Okay, sure. Yeah,
and
but
so,
I think she was curious, but she didn't want to live there.
No, but Raven said, stay here with me, like, for a couple more minutes, and I'll tell you everything you want to know.
No,
you know what I mean?
No,
she didn't mean permanently.
No, I think
Why
she
would
meant
Weiss
permanently.
stay No, I don't think that's what she meant. I think
they meant permanently.
No, I don't think
that's why they
no,
fucked
I don't
up.
think that's it. I think that Raven meant more, if you guys stay with me for a while, I will answer all of your questions, and we can have a fresh start. Because why would she want to keep Weiss? Like,
I don't know.
Weiss isn't her kid.
Because she's tasty in a fight, I guess.
No, but I think it was more like, she was trying to test Yang to see if Yang cared more about RWBY than knowing the truth. To see if maybe she was as blind as Tai in regards to Summer. Like, I think it was more like, I'm not gonna, like, she wasn't gonna keep them there forever. Like, I'm sure she would have let them go, you know what I mean? Like, I think it was more like, after you know the truth, you may not want to go see Crowe, or maybe you'll be better prepared to talk to Crowe after you see the truth. So you can either hear from me, or you can go see Crowe now, and we can see what stupidity you're gonna pull out of your ass, Yang.
I feel like we have a great difference in how we interpreted this,
I mean, the answer is the same anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I think Weiss would have been, if Yang hadn't been so angry earlier, Weiss would have been like, Yang, maybe we should stay for another 5 minutes.
Do we have to do a video about this?
No.
Good. That's
why we're talking about now. We're analyzing it now because it happened. That's what I'm trying to say. And so I feel like it was more, that's where it was going. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it was more, what am I trying to say? I feel like that is kind of what they were trying to do, you know what I mean? Like, Raven was just sort of testing her, because you see her reaction, like, she's like, ugh, like, after Yang leaves, right? She's disappointed that that's what she decided, because now she sees her daughter's a fucking idiot. No offense.
Her daughter is an idiot, but I digress.
Huh?
Her daughter is an idiot, but I
like,
digress.
no offense to Yang, I understand,
no
like,
offense to a fictional character.
Her motivations make sense, right? She doesn't care about Raven, she just wants to go see RWBY, and so of course at the first opportunity of Raven opening the portal, she's gonna go. However, Weiss was sort of the smart one in this situation, I feel, because Weiss has a curiosity about the world to an extent that is more, I believe, than Yang, because Weiss is, again, she's the smart one, she was locked up in Atlas for a long time, you know, like how she's like, you know, Vale is beautiful this time of year, you know how, like, XXXY, you know, like, she says all this stuff about Vale to, Winter when she goes, right, and so she kind of has this, I guess, I want to say a curiosity about stuff going on around her, so I feel like if it was just Weiss, Weiss would have been like, as long as you open the portal for me later, yes, we can stay and have more tea. Right? But meanwhile, Yang wasn't in that same camp. I would have stayed with Raven to ask some more questions, okay? If I'm going to see Crowe, I want to be prepared. But, it's okay.
They know that presumably Crowe will answer them honestly. And
yeah,
he
but
has the same information.
The thing is, though, is that we don't know if Crowe, because Raven says that Crowe was blind, or something, that Crowe was blinded by Ozpin, and so even though he'll tell them things, Raven could have told them stuff that Crowe wouldn't touch. You know what I mean? Like, say ozpin, I don't know, like, genocided some faunists. I don't think Crowe is gonna tell them that, you know what I mean? And so I feel like what they should have asked wasn't the same information that they would have gotten from Crowe, but stuff that they would have thought, if they were doing this intelligently, stuff that they would have thought that Crowe wouldn't answer. So what actually happened to Summer, for example, is something Yang probably could have asked that Crowe doesn't really want to talk about. Stuff like that. You understand what I mean? Instead of being like, so who's Salem? What is she doing? Like, they probably have the same answer about that. But in terms of ozpin, if I were there, I would have asked about that more. Because you want to get the widest array of information possible, right? And so you would ask stuff that you don't know about, I guess. Like, you would ask stuff you're sure that you're not going to get from Crowe. So I would be sure that Crowe's not going to tell us about, like, ozpin's, like, dirty history. You
Sure.
feel me, Hunter?
Sure.
I
don't know, Crowe seems honest.
But at the same time, he may not know the same stuff
And also,
Raven does,
it may
right?
just be perspective, like what Raven sees as terrible, Crowe may see as...
Yeah, but it's about how we see it. And
Yeah,
how the
that's true.
characters see it. And so, Crowe could be like, it's not that bad, you know, and then, like, Raven could be like, no, this is horrible, and we could either agree with Raven or agree with Crowe, but now we'll never know, now will we? So I feel like Weiss, if it was just Weiss would have indulged a bit more, but Yang was not having that. And I understand why Yang didn't. I don't want to say that she's stupid or anything, because even though it was a stupid decision, it's in character, so it's not a stupid character choice. It's a stupid choice as a person. Those are different. Anyway, so now we're getting to the end here. To the end of the episode. So, they just, like, motorcycled through the frickin' portal. And, like, how they reacted to Raven being a bird was not the same as two people that should have, like, seen magic for the first time, I feel. You know what I mean? Just because it was like, yeah, like, how did you, like, they didn't even bother to ask, like, any questions about
They
that.
seemed a little stunned. They weren't like, birds.
They were in shock, but they weren't like, what the hell? Like, if they were gonna have one F-bomb this season, I think that seeing, like, what should have happened is Raven should have flew forward and, like, crashed into Yang, and then Weiss would have been like, what the fuck? Like, you know, I've seen everything now, but Weiss seemed to be the one that was more, like, believing in magic. But now they definitely know. Also, Crowe hesitated to tell them that he could turn into a bird. So obviously he didn't want to tell them that Ozpin manipulated him into being a bird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that's
I just want to see the next episode.
Okay.
But the next episode will probably be a Blake episode, and we won't see
Oh my god, okay. I want to talk about the Blake episodes, not as a separate video, because I don't think we can make one out of that, but, like, this is getting out of control. Like, we get it. Blake is in Menagerie, okay? Like, we understand. Like, it seems like the entire season is just gonna be Blake dicking around in Menagerie, and even though I do like it, like, her interactions between her and Ilya, and the like, you know what I mean? And I think that's a good idea. Like, you know, like, it's getting draining. Like, we are moving at the speed of molasses. Like, somebody go faster. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it's okay. Don't worry. I like that, like, Weiss was grabbing onto Yang, and, like, that's just more shipping through fuel. Like, they're not being subtle with this at all. They knew. That's why I'm saying they watch her shipping videos. So Crowe is like Raven because all of his friends are dead, and so he wants to see like what Raven has to say about that, I guess, because that's what he's contemplating during that scene. He's like, I get one or two, but all of them are gone. Like, you know what I mean? I do like that your idea though, that Lionheart sent them all away, and maybe Lionheart even sent them away on missions they never come back from. Because that's a bit malicious, you know. Anyway, but Crowe was like, aw, shit, because as soon as he hears the motorcycle, he's like, what the fuck? That's like another Raven? Place that would have been good for an F-bomb if he was like, shit. Like, as soon as he saw Raven and Yang come through the portal. I also like how Crowe's just like, hey, like, I mean, Weiss and Yang, sorry. I like how Crowe's like, Ruby, can you come here for a sec? And Ruby's like, I'm coming! And then, Crowe was just like, no, you're gonna want to get out here, Ruby. And then, like, she gets the tea set or whatever, and she's like, well, I didn't know how many people we're having. And then she drops it, because I thought that was a nice comparison to Yang breaking the tea set from the table, because she was angry.
Sure.
Ruby did it because she was surprised, right? And I like that Home was playing and that, like, RWBY feels guilty about leaving Yang and everything and that she felt like she shouldn't have left her and all of that stuff because I think it makes sense for RWBY to feel guilty about that. What I didn't like, I have mixed feelings on including Weiss, though, because, like, into that scene, like, just because, I don't know, I feel like after hugging Yang, instead of hugging Weiss together, like, you've been with Weiss for, like, 3 days, Yang, like, chill. Like, I feel like what they should have done is have RWBY go up to Weiss and hug her after, because I feel like, you know, like, Weiss was, like, RWBY was worried about Weiss a lot.
This hug was inferior to
It was
hug.
nice to bring them into a group hug, but the thing is, like, I don't know, like, it didn't feel like, to me, that's how RWBY should have reacted. I don't know. Because I feel like, I get that RWBY has guilt, and she doesn't have guilt in terms of Weiss, that she's not guilty about what happened to Weiss because she wasn't involved in that. I feel like they're gonna have some other interaction later, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like what they're gonna do is have, okay. I feel like what they're gonna do later is have, you know, Weiss and them talk amongst themselves, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like RWBY and Weiss are gonna have a scene catching up later. Sort of like Weiss and Yang had their own, but at the same time, I feel like RWBY hugging Yang and apologizing and all of that stuff, it would have been nicer if, like, Yang then hugged Crowe, because she hasn't seen Crowe in a while, while, you know, then RWBY went to hug Weiss, you know what I mean? Instead of including them in a group hug. Because, like, RWBY was, like, genuinely, like, upset about Weiss. Of course she's upset, that makes sense, her teammates. But you know, you understand what I mean? Like, it didn't have that same power to me compared to, like, when RWBY seemed, like, really, like, missing Weiss in the last season. Because, like, Nora's like, thanks to Schnee Dust Company, and then she looks up all sad, and then it pans to Weiss, remember that? And
yeah,
so,
that's true.
I feel like it's just kind of, like, it makes sense that they would include her, because obviously Yang's right there, and it's more of, like, the team is together again, kind of.
Except for Blake. Who was B? RWBY, right? We were RWBY? No? Okay.
Anyway, and so, yeah, I have mixed feelings about that, but at the same time, it was a nice scene. I just wish that they valued the individual friendship of all of the girls more than the team aspect. Like, that's kind of what they were, like, putting first, is that, like, we're a team, group hug, instead of, like, we're all individual friends that have individual relationships to each other, hug. You know what I mean? But, like, it's fine. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm sure they'll catch up later, and I think that they will get some sort of scene, not entirely by themselves, but we're, like, sort of like how RWBY was talking to Oscar, you know what I'm saying? Like, that she'll have a scene with Weiss saying, like, you know, I was so worried when your father took you away, like, I didn't know what was gonna happen, something like that. And so, I have faith in them, but I know a couple people were like, well, really, she couldn't just hug Weiss, like...
Yeah, I mean, come on. I feel like if I found my sister and then, like, I'd go for sister first. The motivation...
Yeah, you should go for your sister first, but then you could separate hug the other one.
The motivation goes to... I think the motivation
If you didn't
works.
separate hug me and you and Danielle grouped hug me, like, next time you saw me, I would be weirded out.
You're implying I enjoy the company of either of you.
Okay. Of your sister? That's not very nice. Also, is your sister on vacation?
No.
Are you
she's
sure?
Back now. She
Okay.
was.
Because
I love how you're talking about...
Sorry, but, like, the other day I was like, I haven't seen Danielle in a while, and you were saying she was at work, but I'm like, no, Hunter, she's somewhere else.
No,
like, that's like,
no,
that's like RWBY being like, oh yeah, Yang's just at home, she's fine, but then really she's
Are
with
we
the
gonna
bandits,
do a
and I was
separate
like,
video
what?
theorizing about my sister, Cal?
No, I was just,
Okay.
it was just a side thing, it was a connection, okay? Because I was like, you have no idea what the fuck's going on with your sister,
I know my
do
sister,
you?
you're high. I don't think
whatever.
I said that.
You did.
You have the memory of a fucking, like...
I remember this, though, because I remembered it as soon as I saw the Instagram picture.
So
it's
I don't
fine.
even want to...
I don't know. Like, that was a bit of a
entertain the
tangent,
idea.
but it's related, because it's the same...
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, because when I go on tangents, it's terrible, but when you start talking about my sister's vacation plans, it's all in the grand plan,
I'm
isn't
saying
it?
it's related
I'm
because
saying
it's like...
talk about how the hug was not as good as the hug between Yang and Weiss.
That's what
2
I'm
episodes
saying.
back. Which is what I believe as well.
Anyway, the vacuum has finally stopped, and so it's probably time to end this video.
Yes.
Okay. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, remember to join our Discord server and become patrons. And we'll see you later with our, like, 6 other videos that we're doing this week. So don't worry about it. It's okay. And we'll see you later. Bye, guys.